Thank you all for coming today, and yes, I hope to enlighten everybody and answer some of Chen's questions. So just wanted to start off, if some of you may not be familiar with the part of Alaska we're in, the interior. So this just gives an example of some of the gentle rolling terrain. Airstrip is only about 300 meters in elevation. This is a greenfield, a brownfields project with lots of green on top of it. Past producing mine. The camp is shown there was the year-round mine when Illinois Creek open pit was in operation. Airstrip, a lot of heavy equipment, and a 8-mile road system. This is the forward-looking statement that you all get to see, and please take a look at it sometime. So what is the opportunity? Most of you are probably looking for a company that can grow. Western Alaska Minerals has discovered extremely high-grade carbonate replacement deposit. Some of the core is shown here. We really stand out as an opportunity with our exceptionally high grade. Some of that will be showcased when we come out, hopefully later this quarter, with our initial resource. And please stop by our booth, which is right outside the door, to see some of this core. So we have a Tier 1 team and assets. We're very excited about the aspect that we are in Alaska, one of the most friendly jurisdictions in the world. We're a long way from, about as far as you can get away from Panama today. We have a past producing mine on site. Show you a little slide of that at the end. So we've proven, it has been shown, you can have a fully permitted, fully operational mine here. Our team has an excellent discovery record, over 100 years experience working and exploring in Alaska between myself, Joe Pekenbrock, and Andy West, our VP of Exploration. We also own our properties 100%. There are no underlying royalties and no other third-party payments. Touch on our capital structure real quickly. We really have a very tight structure, non-dilutive. We worked very hard over the years to maintain this. Operated about 10 years privately before going public in November of 2021. As you can see, fully diluted shares, about 55 million. And very importantly, insiders, directors, my wife and I are co-founders of the company, still own approximately 32% total of directors and insiders. And we're very proud of 26% ownership by several institutions. 3 are shown here: Crescat Capital, which was just mentioned in the previous presentation, Commodity Discovery Fund, and out of the Netherlands, and Delbrook Capital, which is based here in Vancouver. Management team I'll touch on briefly. You get to see another smiling face from Peter McGaw on the right, but I didn't bring a video. We have several. Myself, I'm an economic geologist, spent a decade working with Anaconda Minerals in Alaska, participated in the discovery of Greens Creek, Hecla's largest silver producing mine in the U.S., the Ambler District, and more importantly to this project, I was the first project geologist to manage Illinois Creek in the 1980s. Joe Pekenbrock is here with us today. He'll be back at the booth and help answer any questions. Again, plus 40 years experience worldwide and in Alaska, and a number of major awards for discovery work at Donlin and the Bornite deposit. Andy West will be here later in the week, our VP of Exploration, a decade with Hecla at Greens Creek and another decade with the Amber Metals Project. And Darwin Green, another very well-known advisor. Peter McGaw has been out on the site several times, 2 to 3 site visits, and is very intertwined with our exploration work and strategy. Just want to mention our newest board member, Susan Mitchell, joined us last year, about 35 years experience in the capital markets to round out our team. So I'd like to touch on the Alaska Advantage. Very, very stable jurisdiction, long history of mining, starting from Kennecott days in the turn of the century, 100 years ago. Shown here, This depicts that we do have access to deep water barge to the mouth of the Yukon River, which comes up in the lower slide, and some of the major deposits that are in this part of Alaska. Fort Knox is the #1 gold producer in Alaska, of course, the flagship of Kinross. Just south of that would be Northern Star's Pogo underground mine. To the north of us is Red Dog, the second largest zinc producer in the world, operated by Teck. And then due south of us is Donlin, which hopefully will start going into a development maybe this year. Moving in a little bit, I'd like to show the property positions. So again, very importantly, we have an entire district. This is very unusual for a junior explorer to control this type of land. All of these properties were discovered by Anaconda Minerals in the 1980s. So after the Illinois Creek mine closed, they went back into the public domain, and we were able to acquire these by staking the claims. So there are no underlying royalties or third-party interest. 5 different deposits. Illinois Creek, past producing mine, is shown the gold star in the sort of the center, and about 8 kilometers to the north of it is Water Pump Creek. So very importantly, these are part of one large carbonate replacement system. Additionally, Round Top is a porphyry copper, different age group, and it's an example of some of the extensive holdings we have. Because this was a past producing mine and 30, 40 years of exploration, we have a lot of local infrastructure. So a 4,400-foot airstrip shown there that was used when Illinois Creek was in operation. We are able to use 4-engine C-130 Hercules when we bring in heavy equipment, trucks, or a drill rig. And the lower slide just shows an example of the Yukon River, which is about 28 miles away, that would be a barge site once this goes into operation. We are very proud of our local hire initiatives and our work with the local Alaska Native villages. We have about 4 in the area. We've had a strong local hire program since 2016, and every year we bring different representatives from the local villages actually on site to see our work, what our exploration looks like, and very importantly to see the people that live in their villages, the work training that they're going through and the jobs that they're receiving. When Illinois Creek was in production from 1996 to 2000, 2002, it was the only local private employer in the area, and many people worked there at that time, and were continually asked, when can we reopen? So why are we here today, and really some of the excitement I'd like to convey to you. We started drilling around the Water Pump Creek area in 2021. Peter McGaw is actually in the blue shirt in the left-hand slide there. And while he was giving a short course to our technical team, we drilled drill hole 2109. 10.5 meters, 9.1 meters true thickness, and the grade is truly exceptional. And this is what sets our company and this deposit apart. Over a half a kilo of silver, 22.5% zinc, and 14.4% lead. So this is really what sets us apart and makes this such a significant deposit. So in 2023, we had 2 different objectives. The first one was to complete some infill drilling in the red zone. That would be the sulfides. The original Anaconda discovery is the light orange up at the top, and that is oxide mineralization. So we completed a number of drill holes, about 5 infill, so we would have an adequate drill density to come out with an inferred resource, which we're currently working on, and then some step-out holes to extend the mineralization to the south. So we now have about 500 meters north-south. It is 40 to 75 meters wide, and thicknesses of the sulfides range from 20 to as much as 100 meters thick. So it's a very high grade and very compact. Stepping back a little bit, you'll see the Water Pump Creek mineralized zone in the top of this slide. So that is the mineralization that we're currently working on a resource for. As Chen said, as we move to the south, we had a post-mineral fault, and that we now realize offset the mineralized trend to the west and also down dropped the mineralization. So we're going to continue our exploration to the south. And then this year, with the adequate funding, we hope to test what's shown there is the target zone. And that is a down dip of some very good plus 200 ppm lead in soils that are shown there. If you look at and compare that to the soil anomaly for the Water Pump Creek zone itself, this new target zone is probably 2 or 3 times the surface anomaly. Some of the really good drill intercepts are shown on the right. I won't read all of those, but you can see hole 2217 was actually 48 meters thick. I'll let you read the grades. And hole 18 was 101 meters. Some of these samples are outside at our booth, so please stop by to take a look at them. So what makes this type of deposit so significant, and why are we so excited about our Water Pump Creek discovery? It is shown in the left side there. This is the Illinois Creek, our project area. The past producing mine is in the lower left. That is now, we realize, is the copper, silver, gold center of the CRD system. And Water Pump Creek is the high-grade, more distal lead, zinc, silver. So that's 8 kilometers between the two. So that's a very, very large system. I'd like to compare the size of and scale of our CRD system with the 2 most well-known systems, CRD deposits in the world. Tintic in Utah, shown in the center. You see the 1 kilometer bar on each of these maps. And on the right is Santa Eulalia, the most famous 1 billion ounce silver producer. And Peter McGaw did exceptional work over the years at Santa Eulalia to develop what is now his model of CRD deposits and exploration. We'll be moving to the south along the Last Draw trend. That's about a 4 kilometer relatively untested zone. And then we will also be working on the Warm Springs target, which is just to the right or east of the past producing mine. So how do you explore for CRD deposits? This is a great and a fun slide to show. When you're very close to mineralization, the effect of the mineralization releases carbonate, calcite, and it's manganese rich. And so when you put a UV light on it, it lights up. And the term that was coined by Peter McGaw is barbecue rock. He likes to say it looks like you can throw your steak on it, but not when it's covered with drill grease. I wouldn't recommend that. This shows you're usually within 20, 30, 40 meters of high-grade mineralization. So it's a couple of examples of that in the another tool that we use in exploration, of course, is geophysics. This year we completed a very state-of-the-art 3D IP survey. So the model on the right is just came out in November, and you can check on some of our news releases for this. But what it shows is up to the top is the Water Pump Creek resource estimation area where all the drilling is. You can see the intensity. Then just below that is the offsetting fault that Chen pointed out. And then we have 4 kilometers of relatively untested zone that we want to focus on in 2024, the Last Draw target zone. There was some drilling in that area in 2005 by Nova Gold, very shallow. We now realize we just need to drill a little deeper there. And hitting, once we can zero in and hit on the continuation of the mineralization of the south, that will be a very significant additional discovery for us, hopefully this coming year. The geophysics also pointed out a very large target in the lower left called the Warm Springs target. And that is truly a large company target, very similar to the Hermosa carbonate replacement deposit south of Tucson. that was purchased by South 32 about 4 years ago in a $1.8 billion purchase. Also don't want to overlook a couple of our other deposits. When we went public in 2021, prior to that rediscovery at Water Pump Creek, our going public resource was the historic resource that we've put into a modern 43101 resource estimation. Approximately 525,000 ounces of gold equivalent, principally in gold and silver. So that on the left there is an aerial view that shows the heap leach pad, which we have drilled and made part of that resource. And so this is a separate opportunity of oxide gold, and where the Water Pump Creek area would be a sulfide processing. In addition, some drill core is shown from Round Top. It's about 10 miles to the north, different age, but very importantly, a porphyry copper deposit that's mostly chalcocite covellite, which is acid-soluble copper, and so this would be a green copper deposit, a TSX-V, which is a lot lower cost to develop than a traditional porphyry. And this is just a fun slide, shows some of the gold mining history. So this is the Illinois Creek leach pad going into production or into development in 1996. And on the left is 4 doré that were produced in 1997. So there is a slogan that goes across many industries: timing is everything. This mine went into production at the all-time low of gold prices in 1997 at about $270 an ounce. The gold on the left, gold silver at that point, was worth about $370,000. Those 4 dorés today would be worth $2.5 million. So that's a good example of change, and hopefully we'll see some change in prices, as Chen talked about earlier. I won't go through all this. It's just to show that the timeline is this is really a discovery that was 40 years in the making, starting from the original work by Anaconda, 1980s. And as we move through to our 2109 rediscovery, and that we'll be moving in this year into additional drilling and hopefully an additional discovery in the last raw trend or Warm Springs. So with that, I think we're about out of time. Just want to say that one of our goals is to, in the next 2 years, is to take the Water Pump Creek zone up to a plus 10 million ton deposit, and that would take us well across the commercial threshold of about 140 million ounces of silver equivalent. So please come by and see us right out to the door. My wife Joan and I, Joe Pekenbrock and Vanessa Bogart, will be there to talk to you, and close with this little slide here of the open pit, and to say that please take a look at Western Alaska Minerals. So thank you very much.